Hey everybody, welcome to On the Painting Table. I skipped a week last week and I actually haven't got a whole lot of stuff done to show you because I had a whole bunch of stuff going on. It's been a busy week, real life kicked in, and my painting time didn't happen. But I did paint 2 miniatures. Actually, I painted 4 minutes. Nope. Yeah, I finished painting 2 miniatures. I have other miniatures that are in the process of being painted, and I built a bunch of miniatures in my spare time. But dedicated sit down and painting time has been at a premium in the last 2 weeks. So you will get to see what's on the painting table, what I've been working on. But there's not a lot of stuff actually done for my pile of stuff from last week, and I've added a whole bunch of new projects because, you know, it's me. So let's take a look at what I've been working on, what's coming up in the future, and you guys can see what you think. So here's what's been on my painting table, getting ready to go. So here's the only guy I finished. I finished the man, the legend, Von Schill, and his steam trunk. So they got done for a game I was playing with Adam for Greenleaf Terrain, and I'm pretty happy with them. Steam trunk was not super fun to build, I'll admit, but Von Schill was a lot of fun to paint, and he matched us for my free course, so he's all done. And then the next thing I almost got finished is my starter set for the Neverborn from the new 2-player starter. There's Angel Eyes, a couple of Blood Wretches, and a Sign of Black Blood. They'll get painted up to match my Neverborn scheme. They're just really base coated and washed right now, and that's it. Like, there's no detail on them whatsoever. So I have a bunch of work to do on them, and they'll be finished. You saw me building my Masaki crew when I was working on my piece of ash from this month. So there they are, all built and finished and on their bases. And even Shang fits on the base just fine. Luckily, when you use scenic bases, I think these are actually Dragon Forge. I think I misspoke and said they were Secret Weapon. I think they're Dragon Forge. But when you mount guys on bases like this, you can actually get away with big off-the-base miniatures because a lot of time the rocks themselves are big and off the base. So they fit quite well. They're all pinned on there and they're ready to go. And then my Free Core Specialist is the only Free Core I haven't painted yet that I have for my collection of Von Schill stuff. And I found my Metal Taylor and my Metal Johann, although Johann might not be Johann anymore because Johann doesn't have a pistol in the new edition. He's just got a hammer. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to use him as. Maybe a Desperate Mercenary. I'll just use the older Johann as a Desperate Merc and paint him up. But I have them, you know, like they're nice little miniatures, and I'm going to finish them up. And then I got some new stuff, and I'm going to call these guys as being for Frostheim, because I really want to use them for Frostgrave, but I also really want to use them for Mordheim. So I think in Mordheim, they're going to be a, a Middenheim company, because I've got Middenheimers, and I've got like other stuff in here, and I'll just use them as a Middenheim like warbands. But then I'm also going to paint up, I think, some of the Frostgrave soldiery that I'll also use in Mordheim, and then use them in Frostgrave as well. I just have to pick a wizard. I have some old wizard miniatures. I just can't decide what I want to do as a wizard. Like, I think maybe I'll do the actual miniatures from Frostgrave Wizard, and I'll use it as a warlock in Mordheim, and I'll use it as a wizard, an apprentice in Frostgrave. So I'm super excited about these. Doc Raven sent me these. Oh my gosh, I love all these old Perry miniatures. They are some of my favorites. And even though they're across different warbands, there's some Reichlanders in here. There's some Middenheimers. And you know, like it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna paint up in the same colors. They're all Empire dudes, and they'll all be just fine in the actual game for either system. And they're just classic miniatures. So I'm super excited to paint these. It's hard for me right now to not just paint random fantasy miniatures because I'm having so much fun doing it. And I kind of need to paint other things. I need to paint Malifaux, I need to paint more Infinity stuff, but they're Perry miniatures, man. They just called me. They're so cool. So there you go, my On the Painting Table for this week. You saw a lot of unpainted miniatures. You saw 2 finished painted miniatures. That's not my usual output, man. I'm feeling embarrassed that in 2 weeks I painted 2 models. I base coated some miniatures. I built a lot of miniatures. I'm excited about a lot of miniatures. I got some trend stuff done, but it's just been rough. We had a whole bunch of stuff happen all at once, and just kind of eat into a bunch of time. As being a grown-up with kids, you probably know this if you're also grown-ups with kids, or if you're just kind of a grown-up in general. That stuff happens, and then you just got to put the brakes on and do what you got to do. So I'm super excited. Thanks again, Doc Raven, for sending me these Mordheim miniatures. I am so excited to paint these little Perry miniatures. And there's so many great games around right now that I can play with them. It's gonna be amazing. I'm super excited. And then thanks again to Gareth Jarvis for sending me the what's her name, Masaki box. I'm super excited to paint those too because it's so funny. It's perfectly a bridge between my Jacob Lynch Neverborn and my Von Schill Outcasts. I can have 10 Thunders, and they all kind of like cross-pollinate. That's kind of the coolest thing about playing Malifaux, is if you buy miniatures, chances are the miniatures you already own somehow work with them. It just always ends up like that. So I'm going to have a whole bunch of crew selections for them. Even after I paint just them, I have other 10 Thunders guys that I can just include that I already have painted that just happen to also be Neverborn in my other faction box. So we'll see you for more on the painting table next week. I promise, I will have something from this pile painted then. If not the Neverborn just finished, I'm going to start cranking out other stuff too. And yeah, I've got objective stuff too to work on. I'm working on the Thaw, the Lich Lord stuff right now for Frostgrave. I have a bunch of objective miniatures, cultists stuff to paint, so you see them too, and more things on the go. So it might not just be this stuff right here built and painted, but I couldn't just put like 2 miniatures down and be like, I'm done, this is what I have. I want to do some extra things too. And yeah, and we'll see what I get done through next week. I have some time now actually to work on things, and hopefully my production goes back up to normal. Ash level, 7 days, I got a whole bunch of stuff done. So in the future, you'll be able to hopefully see that video. We'll see you for more of that. Thanks for watching. This is my On the Painting Table. I'm Ash. Happy board gaming.